There are institutions that are producing systematic oppression and injustice.
I'm scared to speak on my own situation until I get out the situation. It was laughing going on. Me, it's not really a game to me.
Hey guys, I'm Carri Twigg. We all know the world is messed up, whether it's Trump's latest lie, mass incarceration, environmental destruction, or racist drug laws. There's a whole lot to be outraged about. It can all leave you feeling pretty helpless. But you can make a difference, and I'm here to tell you how, issue by issue. I've worked in the Obama White House, on several political campaigns, and full disclosure, all for Democrats, and in the nonprofit world trying to get people like us to care more about politics, all to get elected officials to look at, understand, and work for people like us. I'm here today to talk about what's wrong with our criminal justice system, how to fix it, and what Kim Kardashian has to do with any of this. Currently, there are roughly 2.3 million people in some form of prison or jail in the United States. That means we have both the largest prison population in the world and the highest per capita incarceration rate. Kim Kardashian-West has recently become an unlikely advocate for sentencing reform. Last year, she heard and tweeted about the case of Alice Marie Johnson, a 63-year-old Tennessee woman who spent 19 years in prison for a nonviolent drug charge. But just hopping on Twitter wasn't enough. Kim actually visited Trump at the White House last May to help secure Johnson's clemency. That sparked an interest that went beyond one case. Kim returned to the White House in September to ensure that more cases like Johnson got through a fair review process. But you don't have to be a Kardashian to do something about how unfair the criminal justice system is. There are a whole bunch of ways you can work to change things. Here are a few of the major efforts underway to fix things right now. Bail reform. Nationwide, 62% of people in jail are not serving time for a crime they've been convicted of. Instead, they're waiting around for cases to be decided. Many of these involve nonviolent charges, sometimes even something as minor as a traffic violation. Keeping people in jail before trial is unbelievably expensive. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, it costs local governments nearly $14 billion a year. The only way to not be held in jail before a trial is to pay bail. Bail is essentially a ransom on your body. If you can afford it, like Harvey Weinstein, who showed up to his hearing with $1 million cashier's check and got to walk away, you can go free until trial. If you can't, you remain behind bars, away from your family and your job. Being in jail, again, before you're convicted of anything, can put you in very real danger of losing your home, your health care, or even a scholarship. Sentencing reform. It's a truism by now that jails are a dumping ground for people with substance abuse and mental health problems. Activists and experts have been recommending for years that our goal should be to divert more people away from jail, and perhaps out of the justice system entirely, and into treatment. Things weren't always this way. In 1982, for every 100 arrests, 51 people were booked into jail. By 2012, even after crime rates went way down, that ratio had gone all the way up to 95 out of 100. Today, 12 million people a year are admitted to jails in this country. Prison reform. With a few exceptions, American jails and prisons are very dehumanizing places, for both prisoners and for staff. For incarcerated men and women, around 95% of whom will return home, the possibility of rehabilitation is undermined by the brutality and the monotony of life behind bars. High recidivism rates suggest the way we allow incarcerated people to use their time inside isn't working. In far too many jails and prisons, access to schools, job training, substance abuse counseling, health treatment, and a variety of other necessary programs is limited or non-existent. How do we expect anyone to make safer, healthier choices if we aren't giving them access to the very things they need in order to do so? Despite how bad things are, we've racked up some major victories. Here in New York, starting on October 1st, a law called Raise the Age starts to go into effect. Over the next year, the new law will make it illegal to charge anyone under 18 as an adult. Previously, kids as young as 16 could be tried as adults and be locked in prison with grown-ups. As we saw with Kim Kardashian-West, celebrities getting engaged on issues like criminal justice is a good thing, because they bring more views and visibility to the cause. This year, at the Global Citizen Festival, in front of a huge crowd, John Legend announced from the stage his participation in the largest bailout in American history, something I helped organize. Without the platforms of major stars, too few people would know there are huge problems to fix. But even more than photo ops with the president or huge announcements at concerts, It's the quiet, basic, less flashy work that actually drives change. And that's the kind of work you can do right now. To find out more about what you can do to help reform the criminal justice system, visit vera.org. When I was in middle school, my mom told me government is basically old men sitting in a room deciding how free you are. Now that I've spent years working in government, I know how true that can be, especially when it comes to criminal justice. But you can do something about it if you refuse to stay silent. And as always, one of the most important things you can do about this or any issue is know who your elected officials are and what they stand for. And remember not only to register to vote, but to actually show up on election day and cast your ballot. Join me next time when we'll break down what's really going on with legalizing weed. For Complex News, I'm Carri Twigg.